Alright, so I wanted to make a quick video on the setup of this, the F-18 made by Freewing. I see a lot of guys having issues, basically crashing there. So the biggest thing is obviously center of gravity. My center of gravity is so far forward. This is where I put my battery. This is a HRB 5000. I also do use the SMC 5000s as well. I only use 5000s in this jet. I know other guys that use 6,000. I think that that's just a little on the heavy side, but that's just me. And basically where it's CGs, the bottom screw is right here, and it'll CG just behind the screw. And I'll show you in the next video of how it flies there. It's extremely stable. That was probably the first issue that I noticed when I seen people set theirs up, is that they are going a little bit too far back on their CG. So you definitely want to be a little bit nose heavy. And then secondly, on the flaps. So I did not use the book flaps. I am using something that's a lot higher. I'm not going as low on the flaps as that the book will call out. The reason why is when you go full flaps, the plane just does not want to turn correctly. It like stays stuck, and it'll slow the plane down so much that if you turn, you'll actually stall. So these are my takeoff flaps right here, and then these are my landing flaps. So it's barely any movement whatsoever. I'm not using a ton of flaps. So here, there's my landing, there's my takeoff, and then there's my neutral point. So again, those two things, if you use the correct CG, and again, another tip is that, let's say you're coming in for a final, when you turn, don't put your flaps in until you're perfectly straight. Once you straighten out, go ahead, put flaps down. You can put your gear down. So I put my gear down in the turn, and then when I straighten out, that's when I put my flaps down. And then I'll obviously go down to landing flaps. And then from there, it's just massaging the throttle. You don't want to, sometimes I come off the throttle and then just kind of let it dead stick for a little bit, but then I'll always put throttle in to get a little bit of a flare. Keep in mind, what keeps F-18, or what makes F-18s a little bit harder to fly, is obviously your wing is here, but look at how much of the plane is hanging in front of the wing. Where if you look at an F-16, it'll more go like this. So you're getting a lot more lift in this area, where on the F-18s, you don't get as much lift in this area, especially when you roll the plane. When you roll, you lose all your lift up here. So now your wing is obviously generating lift, but everything up here isn't. So then the plane wants to start to slide down like this. And if it slides down, obviously you're gonna have issues. So in the turn, you definitely need more speed than you would if like a F-22 or an F-16. So again, if you do those two things, you will definitely have success with this plane. And then as far as the neutral elevator position, 7 millimeters below this line is perfect. There's a little line here. You'll see where the bottom portion of the foam meets the top portion. There's a line. I went 7 millimeters below on both sides. And to be honest with you, this is the only plane where I've never had to trim. If you look at my settings, this is trimmed, literally all zeroed out. I did not have to trim anything, which is really surprising. I've flown it twice, and then I'm gonna fly it again tomorrow and have my wife record it. That way I can post it with this as well. But anyways, best of luck to you guys. This is what I've done that has worked for me, and obviously it's been working good. So hopefully you guys have the same experience.